Yep, that's the intro song I'm using for the first episode of the Local Lifestyle Podcast. And it's not just me alone sitting in an apartment like a loser. I have my first co-host of the first episode. Her name is Danielle.
Hi.
Hi, Danielle.
How are you?
I'm good. Thank you for joining me. Now, for all of you listening for this first awesome episode of the Local Lifestyle Podcast, it's called The Search. We're going to be discussing some things about searching for apartments and all that. And the one good thing about having my co-host with me today, Danielle, is she's actually a coworker of mine as well. Right? What do you do?
I am a property manager for TLC Property.
Woot, woot. Yes. And once again, this is all sponsored by TLC. So we brought on a coworker, another property manager. And what property do you happen to manage?
I manage Hawthorne Suites down on Republic Road.
Is it a very sweet place to live?
It is the sweetest life.
Now, you guys over there, for this search of what we're going to be getting into, since we are in the leasing world of everything, there's a process that most people, I don't know if they know they have to go through to be prepared to start searching.
It is quite the process.
Yeah. I mean, I moved 5 times in the last 11 months, 12 months or so, all over. 5 times. And
That's a lot.
It's not fun.
It's not. It's very overwhelming.
A wee bit. And that's the thing. That's why with this podcast, we're going to be breaking some apartment lifestyle things down and try to give some hints, be helpful and entertaining. And throughout this, I'm sure you're going to hear Danielle's laugh. See, there it is. It's infectious. It makes you giggle. It's like a child's laughter, so to speak. But what we're going to be going through today is the search, like I said. So you've been doing this. How long have you been a leasing agent, property manager?
I have worked for TLC for 8 years.
8 years?
Yeah.
Now, you could have gone through high school twice or college twice for that one.
I mean, I went through college once.
Was it good enough? Did you not want to do it again?
Why not?
So with this search, with what people are going to be looking for, the first process of getting going, looking for anything, whether it's an apartment, a house, a car, you need to do some research. Nowadays, there's apps just like there are online things like online sites. Even with a boyfriend or a relationship, you're not just going to be like, you're pretty, I want that one.
Why not? That would be so much easier.
So if it was just that easy for anything in life, I think it would be a lot easier. Yeah, could you imagine if there was an app for like apartment searching, Tinder or something? Ugly. Right. Hot. Well, I don't know if I would call an apartment hot. I don't think I've ever done that. Be kind of interesting. Anyways, so with the search, you got to figure out what you're looking for, just like in a relationship. What kind of style? Do you have a preference in what the apartment looks like? If the color scheme's proper for you, square footage, is that going to be a deal breaker? What kind of amenities they're going to offer to you? All these properties in town, us included, we all offer something, and it's really trying to make sure that the potential resident finds what they're looking for, because it's going to be their home after all.
Right.
So, what do you do? You have over at Hawthorne Suites, you have something pretty cool that you offer your tenants.
Yeah. The biggest thing that everybody loves at Hawthorne is that we provide a free YMCA membership to the Pat Jones Y.
Ooh, they got a sauna there, don't they?
They have all kinds of stuff like sauna and a steam room, and they have a pool all year round. And
I want to go.
Yeah.
See, you're selling me right now
I know.
on it. But that's the important thing with amenities. You can offer something so cool that someone's like, sold. Right there, I want to come stay at your place. If only it was that easy to get people to want to come have like slumber parties. People slumber party anymore? Is that still a thing?
Is there like a crickets? There we go.
So with the amenities, they are important. I don't care what anybody says. Like there's movie theaters that some of our properties offer, basketball courts.
Beds.
I don't see the tanning bed thing when talking about that. I don't mind. It's also when you're trying to lease, you're trying to pick looking at the potential resident. Do they care?
Is it winter?
Say it anyways,
Are they tan? Is this going to matter?
I'm always tan. I'm tan all year round.
Okay, well, for us that are not so lucky.
Location, another thing of where you're looking for in town, because here in Springfield, the local aspect of it here, we are a growing city. We're getting bigger. And it's funny to call it a city because I'm from Chicago, coming from there to Springfield. It's a city by population, small town vibe.
Yeah, it's grown like crazy since I've lived here. I've moved here in 2006, and just seeing the difference in that short amount of time is crazy.
I got here in 2011 and it's grown. So location is going to be one thing. Where is your job located at? Where are you needing to get? Like when I moved here, I based off where I was living because it was 5 minutes away from the radio station I worked at.
Right.
So I was like, I could walk to work. I never walked to work. Who does that?
No.
I drove.
No one walks.
But location is a big thing. So some of the other things you want to think about with our website that we have, you can go on there and check out the apartment search, and it gives you a whole map of Springfield and all the properties that we run and own. And it kind of, narrows that down. So that's the thing. You want to find out certain things and narrow it down for your search. Cost is obviously
huge
big deal. So if you know the number range that you're staying in, that's where you want to do your research. Get online, look around. Like when I moved to Wisconsin last year, I took a job up there when I left the company for a little bit. It was interesting because I was expecting the same thing that I found here. Not true at all. So, getting online, looking at it and looking at your costs, figuring out what is your rate of pay going to be with your job if you know and staying within a budget. I'm not a very good budgeter all the time. I like lavish myself. If you're wondering when I say lavish, what I'm wearing right now for this first episode, sweatpants and a hoodie. That's what I'm comfortable in, and
do you? Yeah.
I will do me.
I literally have like leggings and a t-shirt.
And it fits for my cost because I can go to Wally World and get these for on the cheap. But yeah, cost is one thing. So if you're sitting in a range, you're going to find something that's going to fit best for you. Within our company and some other companies all over, they're going to range going back to the style that you're looking for. If you want the creme de la creme marble countertops and all of that, you're probably going to pay a little bit more for it. So, maybe be realistic when it comes down to it. What I was always told growing up, you got to know the difference between want and needs. You ever go through that?
No, I make sure that what I want is what I need.
Well, there you go. That's one good spin on it. So taking a look at cost, making sure that that's going to work for you. Like Danielle works at Hawthorne. There's a Palm Village. That's where I actually property manage at. We do have Orchard Park, one of the biggest ones that is in our company. We have 27 properties in town right now. And then that's just us.
Right.
And there are other places out there. So coming down to that search part, find what you want.
What you need is what you want.
We can write a song, Danielle.
Maybe. Oh, yeah. Let's write a song.
But I don't think anybody's going to want to hear that. Nope. So, some of the other process of this searching is the leasing part of it. Now, anybody out there who has ever worked as a leasing agent, any of that, they know this process. We are trained to learn this process. But somebody out there who maybe be a first timer or somebody coming from a home to an apartment, that's a whole different whirlwind over there. It's that process that they may not be aware of. So
a lot of first-time renters that we come across, like in Springfield.
Yeah, there's college. There may be, first-time renters.
Transition city, between how you were saying, this is obviously not as big as Chicago or something.
Why do you got to say it like that? Chicago.
It's my West Virginian accent.
Two different sides of the world. That's what it feels like. But no,
this is a really good medium town, city, whatever you want to call it, that a lot of people start here. They enjoy doing the college experience here, or maybe their first jobs here, and then they move on or sometimes come back.
It's a good jumping off point
for sure.
But a lot of people do come back. It's cheap.
It sucks you back in.
It does. It's some people call it a black hole, but that sounds negative. Yeah, the steps in getting into, let's say you find the apartment that you like, you find your little dream apartment and you want to get it going. Well, here's the first step, an application. And anywhere you go, they're going to tell you that, hey, you got to fill out an application. It's like getting a job.
Right.
We've got to review you. Now, typically, not all, but typically speaking, from even just moving around, there's going to be an application cost, like a fee.
Yes. Because I've never done an application for pretty much anything.
And this is America. Nothing's free.
True.
So got to keep that in mind.
Disappointment is free.
Yes, see, there you go. I like your positive spin on a negative wordage there. That's great. So your application process, breaking down what that's going to take. Literally either coming in, filling it on paper. A lot of places are going paperless nowadays, moving with technology.
Everything's online.
Yeah. And then
all the time.
And the cost, I think you'd be looking from $30 to $40, around somewhere in a ballpark of there.
Yeah. Most places I've seen, they are anywhere between I would say $20 and probably $35 to $40 per person.
Yeah. Non-refundable. Mm-hmm. You got to keep that in mind. Some people always feel like, well, if I'm not going to rent there, I want my money back. It doesn't always work that. Read the fine print is one thing that I can stress, is just making sure you're asking all the questions. Make a list. I've had multiple people coming through my office, or just when I was leasing before, with a list of questions. And I appreciate it. They always say, I'm sorry, I don't mean to be annoying. No, you're not. You did your research, and this is about to make my job a lot easier.
I've had so many people come in with an actual Excel spreadsheet that they are checking, ticking the boxes. Mm-hmm. I'm like, look at you. Yeah. You're so organized. Yeah. I wish I was like that.
I'm not even that organized.
Life. I don't know.
Yeah, I really wish I was more organized in my day-to-day life, because I have a calendar book. What are those things called?
A planner.
A planner. See? Can't even say the words. I got one of those sitting back
one
there.
of those organized books.
I got one of those things back there, and it doesn't do much.
Clearly you use it.
I need help. I need help is what I need. Anyway, so the cost breakdown of things. We talked about administration fee, like application fees. There's an admin fee that we ask for depending on the size of your apartment. So it just kind of depends on what you're going to be getting. Admin fees, though, are pretty standard across the board for TLC properties.
Yes. And becoming more standardized in town, actually.
Yeah,
So
I've heard that. Because like an admin fee is not a deposit. It is not first month's rent or anything. Like I said, depending on the size of your apartment, the price will differ.
Yeah, studio 1 bedroom is $325. A 2 or 3 bedroom is $375. And if your property has 4 bedrooms, it'd be $425.
Because they're big.
They're big.
They're big.
The big ones.
Yeah, so you do have the administration fee. We asked that kind of locks in your apartment for you. You got to keep in mind it's gonna cost you to get going on everything. You've got the application, an administration fee. As far as deposits, we don't do deposits unless it's needed.
Right,
we
like
do
it's
offer
a condition
options.
of like helping you get approved for some people that might need help getting
Because
approved.
we're not in the business of wanting to turn people away. No company wants
Right.
to do that. So we do work with you here at TLC as far as, if credit's low, income's high, you can pass with conditions and go that route. Another charge that you may want to consider is animal fees and charges. Around town, you can hear about people. They always ask on that list that they have, hey, do you have pet rent? You have to keep that in mind that each property management company will be a little bit different. They're going to have different standards for their business. With TLC, it's $250 per pet, basically for cats and dogs.
Up to 3 pets in the apartment.
Exactly. Up to 3 per apartment. $250 a piece, one-time fee for those animals. There's no weight restrictions.
It's just a breed restriction.
Just a breed restriction.
Which is not as common in town either, which I've found is odd.
Yeah. No, I mean, it's one of those things where things are constantly changing. So ask all the questions you can. When you get into the leasing office, as we said earlier, if you want to make a list, make a pre-list of what you're looking for, you tell the leasing agent, hey, this is what I'm about. This is like on a Tinder profile. This is my about page. This is what I'm about. So are we going to work? Are we going to work a deal?
Which bringing up your animals should be like one of the number one topics that you bring up if you have an animal.
Well, an animal, a pet, it's a family member.
It is, but sometimes those family members are not,
Not welcome. I got family members that were like, oh, I love you.
I mean, I don't want to bring my family members around either. I'll bring my dogs wherever.
The dogs are great. And you have a dog, don't you? You have a couple.
I have 2. I have 2 golden doodles.
Golden doodles.
Ginger and Mila.
See, you can hear it in her voice. It's a family member. It's not just a pet.
They're the worst. If anyone has ever seen my dogs on the side of the road, I mean, more the sidewalk. I don't just like let them wander, but
good, because they need to be on leashes.
They are always on a leash, whether or not that they have jerked the leash away and they are currently running amok is, different.
Well, it's funny. When we talked about amenities earlier, the properties where we stay at, we live like in the corners. Essentially, there's a bunch of apartments over here. There's a dog park they just put in.
Yeah.
And that's just one of the cool amenities that some of these places do offer. So you can bring your furry, 4-legged, 3-legged friends with you. Why? I'm getting a look right now after saying that. Some
cannot deal with sad animals.
They're not sad. They don't know the difference. They're living their best life. See, there's that laugh, ladies and gentlemen. We're here in the podcast for the Local Lifestyle Podcast for Danielle and her amazing laugh. So anyways,
it's pretty contagious.
Yes, I told you it's contagious. So you have the pet fees you want to keep in mind. Ask if there's any restrictions on what kind of animals that they allow within their property. Do that research. Do the search, as well as the one last thing that we're getting towards the end here, the lease agreement. Ooh. So once you get past the application process, you put down a little bit of that money for an admin fee with our company. The next step, if everything goes good, is getting to the lease agreement.
Read it.
Yes. I don't think we can stretch that enough.
Please read it.
Everything's going online nowadays, and that's fine and dandy, but it's too incredibly easy. Like, I'll admit, when it comes to like Apple updating their stuff and, hey, do you agree? all day.
Absolutely not.
I don't read
just
it.
Click it and keep going.
So certain things, yes, I can understand. We just click through them. But with a
Right.
lease somewhere you're going to be sleeping in, like calling your home, take a look at it because each lease is a little bit different. The lease I had,
And it's actually a legal document.
yeah,
in
and
case,
it's binding.
Yes.
Yeah,
Like,
so
you may want to read that.
you know, and it really
Just
like
glance at least.
it's there for a
Minimum.
reason. I know, like when I read them, because you were actually my property manager when I had first kind of come to town, and I sat in that office probably for an hour at a time. Reading
Every
page for
single
page,
time.
and I was there for 7.5 years.
And sometimes only 6-month leases, which made no sense to me. But
I only did that a couple times because I was unsure of where I was going to end up.
regardless, he sat there in the office.
I like
the
the
whole
office.
time.
I got free water and
would
candy.
read it.
And
Is there
I-
anything different in my lease agreement? No, but he sat there and read, which is great because that's what you should
Because
be
you
doing.
could be lying. You could be lying to me.
I mean, I wasn't gonna talk
She'd
about
have
how I
that
was
laugh
a
and be
liar.
like, no, there's nothing different. But yes, I sat there and read it all, you know, and that's the other thing. You brought it up. I would sign some short-term leases. There is options for that around town. Some people
Yeah.
always think, is it a long-term, like a 12 to 13 month? We, within TLC, we offer short-term leasing. You know, we want to help you out. We don't want, like I said, we're not in the business of turning people away. There are options out there as well. So if you're in that search, make sure you ask if you only need a 6-month lease. Ask if that's an option. Don't sign yourself up for a 12-month and have to go through penalties to get out of it.
Right.
That's not worth it. Make sure to do the research within that to make sure you're not going to be stuck into something you don't need. Now, Danielle, on a personal note, you do have a hobby that you have started getting into, correct?
I do.
Yeah. What's that hobby all about?
I do like specialty cakes and cupcakes and cookies and desserts in my free time.
Did you bring any today?
I sure didn't.
Didn't get nothing.
I wasn't
but-
requested to bring anything.
if I would have known, I would have requested cookies or brownies or something. Now, I have had the privilege to taste some of Danielle's tasty cakes. We had a mutual friend, and it was a graduation party. You did a
Sugar Skull.
sugar skull cake, and it was delicious. It was good stuff. Now, what's the name of your little company?
It's Queen City Bakes.
Queen
and I'm
City
on
Bakes.
Facebook.
All right. Well, you can check her out Facebook, Queen City Bakes. The last one you just did was...
It was an Amazon box. I have had so many people messaging me about this Amazon box. I mean, it was pretty cool to be
It
fair.
looks
but
like a real box.
Yeah.
Like I thought I had a package.
yeah.
I didn't. Nobody
It was
sent
like
me anything.
it was a 3-tier like cake that was a red velvet, and it was so good with like vanilla buttercream. It was so good.
So you're going to...
And the outside of the box was made to look like an opened, like someone had just opened an Amazon box and there was like packing peanuts coming out of it and stuff.
It looked cool. It looked really cool. And you can check those pictures out yourself. Queen City Bakes, one more time for you, on Facebook. Go give it a like. You know, if you want a specialty cake, give her a jang-a-lang. She'll help you out. She will bake into the wee hours of the night to make sure these orders get done.
I will. I'm
I've
a
seen
little
her
bit
do
of
it.
an insomniac as well, so
who
it
isn't?
doesn't help me.
Danielle, the property manager of
Hawthorne Suites Apartments.
Hawthorne Suites Apartments with TLC Properties. Make sure if you are in need, you can go check her out, see if they got something you like over there. And I, Cuervo, your host of the Local Lifestyle Podcast. Danielle, thank you once again for taking some time out of your day to get in here and do this with me.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. It's been really fun.
You're very welcome. It was fun. We'll bring you back on because I'm sure the laugh needs to come back.
It always comes back.
Laughing is good for the soul. From what I hear.
100%.
Yeah.
I should be a way happier person if that's the case.
But hey, we're still laughing. Anyways, it was your first episode of the Local Lifestyle Podcast, The Search. Next episode that will be coming to you is called The Move, because you do need to pack things up, and we're going to break down the ins and outs of the moving process of getting into this new home called an apartment. The Local Lifestyle Podcast with me, Cuervo, brought to you by TLC Properties.